Hello everyone. So today I wanted to do a video. I've been meaning to do this for a while now, but today's video is going to be about how to decipher God's voice, how to hear the voice of God, how to hear God speaking to you. Because if you're saved and you've received the Holy Spirit, then He's talking to you, and it's just a matter of whether you're listening. So how does this happen? So obviously it's not going to be an audible voice. I do remember one time I prayed for like a month and a half. Lord, please, I just want to hear your voice, in a dream, just any way I can possibly please. And He granted my wish. I was asleep, and it was a dream. And in my dream, I forgot what I was dreaming before this, but it just took me into like black. Everything just went to black, and it was just utterly dark. And out of the dark, I hear, or rather feel, this wave of stuff coming at me, and it was this wave of stuff coming at me, like, was words, and the words said, "You are mine," and it hit me so hard, and I realized, oh, so that's what His voice is. That's why He doesn't speak to you. Why does the Father not speak to you? Probably because it'd kill you. You know what I mean? Like, really. But He does still talk to you all the time. You just got to listen. How do you decipher it? Well, most of the time it comes to like thoughts. Like you in your head, right? You got a million thoughts in your head. I do. I'm ADD, so I got like 5 million going at the same time. But how do I decipher those? Well, you got to know yourself a little bit. That's how that's primarily how I do it. Is I know myself and my way of thinking. And for an example, like one time I was with my dad, who's no longer with us, but we was up at the doing laundry at the little 24-hour quick wash there, and this guy come up, and he came in to use the bathroom for a little bit. And went right back out the door. And as he went right back out the door, I seen him kind of stumble around, and he was like kind of at the door, and it was just like a thought went through my mind. Hey, go give that guy $20. And I thought, what? Is that crazy? Like, no way. You're crazy, man. I ain't gonna give that guy $20. He's probably a crackhead, dude. That was not. I failed that test quite badly, but that was God talking to me. And as it turns out, right after that, that guy did come back in there, and he talked to me and my dad, and he was like, "Hey, man, you got anything to spare?" I think I forgot, he had some kind of problem that he needed, like $20 would have went towards a miracle for him, but that's about like all I had in my pocket. That's why I thought, "Are you crazy, God?" Who knows what would have happened if I'd have done it? If God tells you something like that, do it. Do it. For real. No matter what. Don't be a me and be like, "What, are you crazy?" And most of the time, for me, that's how it is. "What, are you crazy?" that's that's how I know it's God talking to me. If it sounds crazy, it probably is. It's probably Him. Especially if He wants me to help somebody. And that's the other thing, like what is it, Is it a thought goes through your mind that you should run your wife over with the car? That's probably not God. That's almost definitely not God. Um, if you got a voice in there that says, "Hey, you should go make your wife coffee because she's gonna wake up in a bad mood in the morning," that's probably definitely God. That's probably definitely God. It can happen other ways. If you're in the middle of prayer, is a good way. A lot of people think prayer is like an email, right? And it's really not. That's not how prayer works. When you start praying, He's watching you. He's listening to you. He's especially like if you're fasting with it and stuff like that. Like, you got His attention. You're praying, and He'll answer you in that prayer. It's a conversation. It's not like an email or a text message. It's like you're on the phone talking to him. You know, it's like call him up. They like that song says, dial up Jesus, something like that. I can't remember the name. Anyway, yeah, it's an actual conversation, and a lot of times I sit here and pray, and it is like a two-way conversation. After you learn to hear the voice of God and realize that's God talking to you after a while, you get more familiar with the voice, and you're like, oh yeah, that's him, you know. And I can say from personal experience, he's very disappointed with me often. So don't be surprised what he says. But yeah, you know, and you got to really watch, because there's me and my wife call them talking snakes, and we all know what those are. And don't listen to those talking snakes, you know, because they're never good, and they can imitate. They can sound like the voice of God if they want them to.
They sound like you too.
They can sound like me. They can sound like your own voice. They try to. I've noticed most of the time they try to slip in stuff that makes it sound just like it came out of your mind, and it didn't. You know, it's definitely not good stuff there. So you always got to put checks and balances and make sure that what you're talking to is God. And how can you do that? Well, a lot of times, is it scriptural, or like put it to the test against the Bible? In other words, that's a lot of Bible teachers will tell you that. And on top of that, I would dare say that is that something God would tell you to do? Like, you know, would God tell you to go buy a 20-pack of Bud Light? Probably not. Probably not. That's your thought, or one of those talking snakes right there. Would God tell you to buy this poor woman's children all Happy Meals? Well, yeah, probably. You know, if it's some kind of charity or good work kind of thing, or you never know. It could be like him telling you, hey, you need to go take a bath, you know, because you stink. I get that a lot because I'm a lube tech, and I stink a lot. So yeah, I smell like diesel right now. It's a good thing you can't smell me through that video. But yeah, you know, I highly encourage everybody to start listening for the voice of God, because he talks to everybody all the time, even unbelievers. And you know what he says a lot to them is, come to me and open the door. It's right there, just, you know, he's talking to everybody. I was going to slip in a little bit here. Everybody today in particular is freaking out on the Feast of Trumpets. And listen, what I was taught is no one knows the day or the hour, for the specific reason that if anybody knew a time to put the rapture on, then nobody would be righteous or even try to. They would just be up to that very minute. Oh yeah, now they're going to be really good because the rapture is about to happen. Not saying that it absolutely will not. What I'm saying is it probably won't happen at this Feast of Trumpets. But the scripture's there to back it up. Like it could happen any minute. So, but should everybody be prepared for the rapture tonight as you go to bed? Well, the answer is yes. You should be ready for the rapture every night, but not this night in particular, especially, you know, because the Feast of Trumpets or whatever. You should be ready at all times, not just tonight through the 25th. All right. So just because it probably won't happen, because there's so many people are waiting. There's songs about it happening on the 25th and the 24th. All right. I listened to one today. It's crazy. And I'm telling you guys, don't lose faith when it doesn't happen. All right. All right. All right. See y'all in the next video, guys. God bless.